Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. And we're getting some feedback, so somebody's speakers must not be muted. While we're waiting on that, before we begin, we'd like to ask everyone, please bow your head for a moment of silent reflection. And thank you. Okay, before we turn it over to Mr. Menges, we'll take a roll call from commissioners. Commissioner Belser.
Present.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Here.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Okay, we got you, Commissioner Howard. We heard you. Commissioner Hamilton. Commissioner Hamilton. I can see your mouth moving, but. Commissioner Irvin, I'll go ahead and call you.
Here.
Okay, we got Mr. Hamilton. Got Commissioner Hamilton. Okay, I think we got everybody accounted for. All right, Mr. Menges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. For our first item of business, staff proposes that our next commission business meeting be held on Tuesday, August 18th at 11 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. That's a different time as normal. Just want everybody to note that we'll be meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, item number 1 on our utilities agenda, docket number 2020-63E. This matter concerns Bridgestone America Tire Organization's petition regarding its solar array.
Okay, do we have a motion on the Bridgestone on the first item? Everybody check your mute buttons on your phones. Okay. We're waiting on a call back in.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Irvin.
Sorry, I was disconnected earlier.
Okay, that's good. We knew we'd get you back.
Concerning the first docket item, I'll have the following recommendation and motion. At the start of this hearing on July the 28th, 2020, the Commission took Bridgestone's motion to strike under advisement. Therefore, we will rule on the matter now as follows, with a formal written order to follow. I move that the Commission grant in part and deny in part Bridgestone's motion. This motion to strike is to be ruled on as follows. The portions of the direct testimony of witness Rafferty identified in the motion that contain evidence of conduct or statements made in settlement negotiations between the parties is inadmissible and therefore stricken pursuant to Rule 408 of the South Carolina Rules of Evidence. The portions of Dominion witness Rafferty's direct testimony identified in Bridgestone's motion to strike that contain hearsay statements made by the South Carolina Solar Business Alliance are inadmissible and stricken pursuant to the South Carolina Rules of Evidence. With regard to portions of the direct testimony from Dominion witness Rafferty, Anthropos, as well as portions of the surrebuttal testimony of these same witnesses and witness Hamlin, contains certain legal conclusions and certain interpretation of regulations and the South Carolina GIP, including testimony offered by lay witnesses as to the ultimate issues before the commission. Therefore, Bridgestone's motion is denied, and such portions of the pre-filed testimonies are deemed admissible, included in the record. I further move that the commission clarify what was marked as hearing exhibit number 15, which is the same letter from the Solar Business Alliance that Bridgestone objected to and moved to have stricken. Therefore, I move that the commission strike the letter marked and labeled as exhibit number 15 from the record. If there are other remaining evidentiary issues raised in the Bridgestone motion to strike, they are specifically addressed in the final order and will be denied. With respect to Bridgestone's petition, their solar array is directly connected to the Graniteville plant's powerhouse and not to Dominion equipment. Thus, it will not interfere with Dominion's equipment or its transmission system. Bridgestone's will not net meter or sell the energy to Dominion. Bridgestone intends to consume all of the electricity generated by the solar array and install reverse power flow protection relays to prevent electricity from being inadvertently transmitted from the solar array onto Dominion's infrastructure. Bridgestone claims that it constructed the solar array in accordance with the contract for electric service, which was marked as its service contract in evidence, between the Bridgestone and Dominion, which was previously approved by the commission. Based on these facts, Bridgestone argues that the solar array is not subject to the South Carolina GIP, nor is it Dominion. Therefore, Dominion should be compelled to allow operation of the solar array, which was completed in 2018. The solar array functions as a behind-the-meter resource, which displaces load from the utility, and once in operation, will meet approximately 1.5% of the passenger and light truck plant's electrical needs at the Graniteville plant. Dominion's position is that the solar array's operation outside of the South Carolina generator interconnection procedures would allegedly violate the service contract between the parties. Dominion, of course, under the contract is required to study the generating facility, and there's no reason as such why Dominion should not be bound to interconnect. under the South Carolina Generator Interconnection Procedures and the mechanism of which the parties agreed to. Following a two-day virtual hearing before the Commission, the parties to the docket presented witnesses on the issues of the applicability of the South Carolina Generator Interconnection Procedures, as well as the interpretation of the service contract between Bridgestone and Dominion. I move that we make the following findings of fact. Based upon the approved service contract between Bridgestone and Dominion, and based upon the case-specific facts in this docket, I move the Commission grant Bridgestone a limited waiver to move to the front of the state interconnection queue in order for Dominion to complete its study and review of the generating facility pursuant to Section 4 of the South Carolina Generators Interconnection Procedures. I further move that Dominion must complete all relevant studies and work with Bridgestone in good faith to implement any additional measures needed to ensure that the solar array will not cause harm to the Dominion system. Dominion has already undertaken some review of the Bridgestone solar array, and under the service contract approved by the Commission, Dominion has specified measures for the safe operation of the Bridgestone system. I further move that the Commission retain jurisdiction of this matter to ensure smooth completion of the Bridgestone solar array so they can be operational. The Commission orders Dominion to report back to us within 60 days of the order, indicating that the solar array is operational. If it's not operational, Dominion must provide a written explanation for why it hasn't been interconnected and what delays may have been experienced, along with a timeline for final completion of all the relevant studies. If the Bridgestone solar array is not operational within 60 days, Dominion must continue to provide us with reports every 30 days thereafter until the array is operational and fully functioning. I move that the Commission find that it has the authority to waive all or any part or portions of the requirements of the South Carolina Generator Interconnection Procedures as in the public interest may require. The Commission's decision today is in the public interest and intended to better serve the goals of the 2014 Act 236 and the 2019 Energy Freedom Act, also known as Act 62. And it's consistent with the laws passed by the General Assembly as it relates to renewable energy. I move the Commission find that it is in the public interest for Bridgestone to have a limited waiver from the interconnection queue, which would have been otherwise required by the South Carolina GIP. The Commission should require Dominion to immediately proceed to undertake the relevant studies, testing, and measures needed to ensure the solar array will not cause harm to the Dominion system. Bridgestone has waited approximately 30 months for the solar array to become operational. It's ordered that the Commission it's ordered by the Commission that Dominion may not require Bridgestone solar array to wait any further in the interconnection queue. The work must proceed and solar array must become operational within the time frame of this order. under the terms of service contract. Therefore, Dominion and Bridgestone must work in good faith with each other and proceed to complete the studies and testing needed so that the solar array can begin operation. This means that Bridgestone will provide Dominion and its representatives reasonable access to the solar array for the purposes of any testing and studies that may be required for it to become operational. So moved.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Urban's motion. Are there questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move to the vote. Commissioner Hamilton. Commissioner Hamilton.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not voting. I was on sick leave for this case. And
That's right. I meant to bring that out earlier. Thank you, Commissioner Whitfield. Commissioner Belser.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Before we move on, I want to make sure we're still getting some feedback on our. So I need for all the commissioners to check your speakers on your laptops that you're using, and also if any of you have more than one phone working at the same time, that could be causing it too. So just everybody check your speakers. Okay, seems like we're not feeding back anymore.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Urban.
This is Commissioner Urban. For the record, I vote aye as well.
Oh, I didn't come back to you. I'm glad. Thank you. I was trying to juggle technology and voting at the same time. So thank you, Commissioner Urban. So we have Commissioner Urban voting aye as well. After all that long motion, I didn't even give you a chance to vote. So
thank you, sir.
Thank you for jumping back in there and correcting me there. Okay, so we're ready to move on, Mr. Minges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 2, docket number 2019-281S. This matter concerns Palmetto Utilities' application for adjustment of rates and charges.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belser.
Palmetto Utilities Incorporated filed an application seeking a rate increase of $5,933,328 and a return on equity of 10.50%. Palmetto proposed a phased-in approach of the rates of $56.94 in Part 1 or Year 1, $61.78 in Part 2 or Year 2, and $66.62 in Part 3 or Year 3. In support of its request, Palmetto asserted increased operating expenses of approximately $2,512,000, investments in capital improvements of approximately $11.4 million, and inclusion of approximately $18 million in rate base associated with sewer collection and transportation systems of the Palmetto of Richland County, LLC, also known as PRC, acquired from the City of Columbia. Following virtual public night hearings and a virtual hearing where the parties to the docket presented witnesses on the accounting issues, return on equity, rate base, and other issues in this docket, I make the following motion. I move that the stipulations between Palmetto and the Office of Regulatory Staff be approved. These stipulations provide, among other issues, that expansion fees collected by PRC and PUI from and after March 21, 2013 shall be recorded as contributions in aid of construction, resulting in a decrease to rate base of $2,644,673. The results of the original cost study prepared by PRC with respect to PRC assets shall be adjusted to apply the Handy-Whitman indices to calculate trends for utility construction, resulting in a reduction in net plant of $1,707,000, $1,707,727. That the PRC assets shall be valued at $8,476,000 and include establishment and approval of a regulatory asset to be amortized over 9.31 years. An improved return on equity of 9.7% and a capital structure of 45.4% debt and 54.6% equity. After adjustments, return on equity and capital structure proposed in the stipulations, annual revenues will increase $3,215,000 with a monthly rate per ERC of $59.87. Palmetto shall establish a regulatory liability for the impact of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act as required by Commission Order number 2018-308. This regulatory liability is valued at $2,032,146. Palmetto shall credit this regulatory liability through a decrement rider for 12 months or until the balance of the regulatory liability reaches zero. The amount of the monthly decrement is $4.94 per ERC. The effect of the decrement rider will reduce a residential customer's monthly bill from $59.87 to $54.93 until the balance of the regulatory liability reaches zero, which is estimated to be approximately 12 months. Palmetto will make an annual contribution of $50,000 to the Wateree Community Actions Incorporated or another appropriate nonprofit entity for a period of 3 years for the exclusive purpose of assisting Palmetto customers with paying their bills to Palmetto. These contributions shall be a non-allowable expense for rate-making purposes. Palmetto will examine and report on the feasibility of obtaining water meter and customer usage data from water providers as soon as practicable. Palmetto will present a volumetric rate design alternative to the Commission for consideration in Palmetto's next base rate case. Palmetto commits to a rate freeze until August 20th, 2023, and the new rates approved in this docket would be implemented no more earlier than September 20, 2020. A formal order addressing all issues in this docket will be forthcoming. That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Belzer. You've heard Commissioner Belzer's motion. Are there questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, may I make a clarification?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if I said the approved return on equity herein should be 9.07%. I may have misstated that number. It's 9.07% return on equity. Thank you.
So noted. Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman, item number 3, docket number 2020-14C. This matter concerns a request for certification of the use of high-cost universal service funds with the Federal Communications Commission and the Universal Service Administrative Company.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, 26 telecommunication companies have filed affidavits in support of their respective requests for certification of use of high-cost Universal Service Fund monies in 2019 and 2021. These companies are 1, Frontier Communications of the Carolinas, LLC, 2 study areas. Number 2, United Telephone Company of the Carolinas doing business as CenturyLink. Number 3, Bluffton Telephone Company Incorporated. Number 4, Chesney Telephone Company. Number 5, True Vista Communications, Inc., formerly known as Chester Telephone Company. Number 6, Windstream South Carolina, LLC. Number 7, Farmers Telephone Cooperative, Incorporated. Number 8, Fort Mill Telephone Company. Number 9, Hargrave Telephone Company, Incorporated. Number 10, Home Telephone ILEC, LLC. Number 11, Ori Telephone Cooperative, Incorporated. Number 12, Lancaster Telephone Company. Number 13, Lockhart Telephone Company. Number 14, McClellanville Telephone Company. Number 15, Norway Telephone Company. Number 16, Palmetto Rural Telephone Cooperative, Incorporated. Number 17, Piedmont Rural Telephone Cooperative, Incorporated. Number 18, PBT Telecom, Inc. Number 19, Ridgeway Telephone Company. Number 20, Comporium, Inc., formerly known as Rock Hill Telephone Company. Number 21, St. Stephen Telephone Company. Number 22, Sandhill Telephone Company, Sandhill Telephone Cooperative, Inc., Number 23, West Carolina Rural Telephone Cooperative, Incorporated. Number 24, Williston Telephone Company. Number 25, Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina. And number 26, FTC Communications, LLC, doing business as FTC Wireless. Mr. Chairman, I move that we direct Mr. Pratt and any PSC staff to file high-cost certification for these carriers, properly certifying the appropriate use of high-cost funds in 2019 and certifying that they will use high-cost funds appropriately in 2021. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Whitfield's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 4, docket number 2020-177C. We have the appointment of a hearing examiner.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we appoint Jerisa Dukes, hearing examiner, in this docket number 2020-177C. So move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 5, docket number 2023E. We have a request for confidential treatment.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Urban.
I move that we grant the request of Duke Energy Carolinas for confidential treatment of exhibit number 3 to Stephen D. Capps' direct testimony. The company has asserted it concerns confidential and proprietary information related to outages. So move.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Urban's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 6, docket number 2020-161E. We have a request to sell real property.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, Dominion Energy seeks to sell their Garner's Ferry Road property at 7732 Garner's Ferry Road in Columbia, South Carolina. An office building on the property was previously used by Dominion Energy South Carolina as a customer service center and most recently served as a storage facility for the company's corporate records. The company states the fair market value of the property exceeds $1 million but does not state the appraised or estimated value. The Office of Regulatory Staff has reviewed the company's application as well as the attendant requirements found at Code Section 58-27-1300 and Commission Order Number 92-931, including prior filings by the company regarding the sale of property. Office of Regulatory Staff states this request will not involve a change to any of Dominion's retail rates or prices or require any change in commission rule, regulation, or policy. Further, ORS does not object to the company's request for approval to sell the Garners Ferry Road property. However, ORS recommends that the commission order the company to obtain approval before the sale of the property is finalized. If such sale is less than fair market value or the appraised value, or if the sale is to an affiliate of the company. Additionally, ORS recommends that the commission order the company to report the sale, including the price and the buyer, to the commission and to ORS when the property is sold. Given this, Mr. Chairman, I now move that we approve the request to sell the real property in Columbia, South Carolina. Proceeds realized from the sale of the building would be credited to depreciation reserves, and any gains realized in the transaction related to the land will be recorded in account number 421.1000 entitled Gains on Disposition of Property. Dominion is to obtain commission approval before the sale of the property is finalized. If such sale is less than fair market value or the appraised or estimated value, or if the sale is to an affiliate of Dominion. Further, Dominion is to report the sale, including price and the buyer, to the commission and ORS once the property is sold.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Whitfield's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Howard.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman, items number 7 and 8 are petitions to intervene that can be taken together. Item 7, docket number 2019-169E, and item 8 is docket number 2019-170E.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant the request to intervene filed on behalf of the North Carolina Sustainable Energy Association. So move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Irvin.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 9, docket number 2020-157E. We have a request for a like facility determination regarding the relocation of utility lines at the Robinson Electric Plant.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belzer.
a little bit of background on this matter. It appears that in July 2015, Duke Energy Progress executed a consent agreement with the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control requiring the excavation of the inactive coal ash fill area at the company's H.B. Robinson plant within 8 years. In accordance with that consent agreement, the company stated in its petition that it is moving forward with plans to excavate the coal ash and certain transmission lines located on Duke Energy's property within the boundaries of the Robinson site need to be moved. Duke states that in order to allow for continued excavation of the coal ash on site in accordance with the consent agreement with DHEC, it needs to permanently relocate the transmission lines from the existing route. The total length of the portions of the transmission lines being relocated is approximately 1.5 miles. The company maintains that the replacement of the transmission lines is essential to completion of their obligations under the consent agreement with DHEC and its continued operations at Robinson. According to statements in the petition, relocations of the transmission lines will take place on Duke Energy Progress-owned property and will not require any additional rights of way or easements from third-party property owners. Duke seeks a like facility designation under South Carolina Code Annotated Section 58-33-110 subsection 1. The relocation project is currently on a schedule that allows for the work to coincide with an upcoming refueling outage for the Robinson plant. The Office of Regulatory Staff has reviewed this matter and has indicated it has no objection. Mr. Chairman, on that background, I move that the Commission approve Duke Energy Progress's petition for a like facility designation under South Carolina Code Annotated Section 58-33-110 subsection 1, so that the utility may relocate the four 230 kV lines at H.B. Robinson Steam Electric Plant as described in the petition. I so move.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belcher's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Belcher.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 10, docket number 2019-182E. Staff presents for commission consideration a procedural schedule in docket number 2019-182E.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Howard.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the commission shall conduct a virtual hearing to begin on Monday, December 14th, 2020, for Dominion Energy of South Carolina, Duke Energy Progress, and Duke Energy Carolina to investigate and determine the cost and benefit of the utility's current net metering program and establish methodology for calculating the value of the energy produced by the customer generators. The company's proposals to submit bundle filings concerning the generic docket and the net metering tariff are acceptable to the Commission. I move the schedule should be as follows. Application for successive tariffs due September 3rd, 2020. Company's direct testimony due date September 24th, 2020. Anavena's ORS direct testimony due November the 5th, 2020. Rebuttal testimony due November the 19th, 2020. Rebuttal testimony due December the 1st, 2020. Virtual hearing date is December the 14th, 2020. The final orders will be out by March the 3rd, 2021. Further, each application must include information related to the cost and benefit of the current net metering program, including information to be outlined in section 58-40-20 and establish methodology calculating the value of the energy produced for the customer generators. I also move that information related to the following issues be contained in the application as well. Improvement for procedure methodology in order number 2015-194, best practice in other jurisdictions, and a cost-benefit analysis. Any update of these requirements will be addressed to a commission business meeting in the very near future. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Howard's motion. Are there questions or comments? Thank you. If not, Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 10, item number 11, docket number 2019-381E. This matter concerns a joint petition to establish a consolidated information docket.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, in this docket, I move that we grant the request of the interested parties and instruct the clerk's office to create a non-docketed item, or NDI, for the purposes of serving as an informational platform regarding or related to the grid improvement plan. The NDI shall be a joint product with one NDI for both Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC. Further, since it is to be an NDI, intervention is not required. This NDI represents an excellent opportunity to provide information to interested stakeholders and could dramatically improve the interaction and relationship between the stakeholders in DEC and DEP. While this NDI will not be part of the evidentiary record, it would be expected that discussions and meetings be conducted both publicly before the commission in a permissible fashion, such as an allowable ex parte briefing, and as necessary between the stakeholders of DEC and DEP. I strongly encourage the interested parties to engage in a meaningful stakeholder process with genuine intentions of reasonably contemplating the concerns, positions, and opinions of all participating stakeholders. If any stakeholder feels that the process is being intentionally frustrated or hampered, I would encourage such stakeholder to let the commission know by appropriately filing a letter with us. Last, I move that we approve the use of the proposed bill insert provided in the joint petition by DEC and DEP in docket number 2019-381-E on December 16, 2019. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Whitfield's motion. Are there questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belzer.
I certainly plan to support Commissioner Whitfield's motion. I particularly appreciate his attention and encouragement for the parties to engage in the stakeholder process. I think that as we go forward, trying to implement so many new statutes passed by our General Assembly and go forward in the directions that the General Assembly is wanting the industry to go, that hearing comments and positions from the impacted parties is certainly vital to that process. I think that the sharing of ideas and the sharing of information and trying to understand where the parties are coming from and what they think are important and how things can be accomplished. I think if everybody will entertain those discussions in good faith and move forward to work together, that a lot can be accomplished. And so I certainly applaud Commissioner Whitfield for including that in his motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Belzer. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, Commissioner Howard,
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries. Thank you.
Item 12, ND 2020-27E. This matter concerns scheduling of a generic proceeding.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Howard,
Commission Chairman, I move that the commission direct the clerk's office to schedule a generic proceeding regarding Dominion's vegetation management, particularly tree trimming practices and policies, as well as Dominion's underground placement of electric utility lines. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. You've heard Commissioner Howard's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Hamilton,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Whitfield,
Aye.
Commissioner Howard,
Aye.
and I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, item 13, docket number 2020-152E. Staff proposes that we carry this item over.
Okay, we will carry over item number 13.
Items 14 through 19 can be taken together. Staff requests that we administratively close the following dockets: 2005 241C, ND 2007 3WS, ND 2019 4A, ND 2012 5E, 2013 60G, and 2012 267G.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Mr. Chairman, these are inactive matters, and I move that any interested party be given 10 days from the date of the order to question any matter that regarding in the statutes. If no response is received within the 10 days, I move that the staff administratively close the dockets. So move, Mr. Chair.
thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Irvin. Okay, we'll get, I think we got the thumbs up from Commissioner Irvin on Skype to vote yes. Commissioner Belzer,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield,
Aye.
Commissioner Howard,
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton,
Aye.
and I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes today's agenda.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come before us? If not, we thank everybody for participating today, and we are adjourned.